All right, let's dive on into some games this morning, huh? So, as many people have noted, there's a lot of Zoe decks in my editor, some of which I've played off stream varying amounts, and some of which I still have yet to play on stream. This is one of the decks that we have yet to play on stream before, but I played it off stream a little bit, and it seems pretty reasonable. So this is a Zoe Nocturn. So this is a Nightfall-esque deck here, with Nocturne being a second evasive threat that cares about your Nightfall unit. So Nocturne's a really interesting design. It's fearsome, so it technically allows you to push damage with its pseudo-evasion, but it also grants something vulnerable and gives things minus attack when it comes into play. So Nocturne also is a card that lets us control the board a little bit when that's good. So I like this as a kind of top end in an aggro shell because it lets us be interactive when being interactive is the ideal thing for us to be doing, but it also helps us race when racing is good. Nocturne levels when you've attacked with 5+ Nightfall allies over the course of the game, and his leveled mode gives all of your allies fearsome whenever you play anything else, makes everything smaller in terms of attack. So the rest of this deck is kind of that Zoe elusive score inside of Targon. So we've got Zoe, Shadestalker, Sparklefly, along with Mentor of the Stones to pump them up, and things like Sunblessed Vigor and Pale Cascade to protect them. And then we've got some Nightfall enablers in Duskbringer, and then other Shadow Isle cards we gain are Doom Beast for a little bit of reach and way to buffer our life total, and then Stalking Shadows to find all of our units extra consistently. Shadows in particular sounds extra fun with Mentor of the Stones that allow us to grant something 2/2, and then, the ephemeral version will pop and give us gems right away, which sounds great. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this one this morning and see how Zoe Nocturne feels today. Put my level 2 stub towards Vlad Scargrounds. I would be happy to bump Vlad Scargrounds for your tier 2. Thanks for the support, Simon. Yeah, remember, if you're one of the people that supports my content at a higher level, like Simon there, tier 2 subs can bump something in the queue by 10 points each month when they renew. Get to see something a little bit sooner. And tier 3 subs can submit a deck list every month when they renew. T Silly, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Mono Anivia. It's been a hot second. Honestly, I think I might keep these. So usually this wasn't a go hard shell before the nerf, so I would be surprised if it was a go hard shell after the nerf. They likely play Vile Feast, but I'm attacking on odds here, so we'll have Pale Cascade up to protect her from that next turn, potentially, which sounds great. Nice. So, Avalanche is a real card I need to be concerned about, so I don't think I just jam Mentor. Does Sunblessed Vigor change that? I don't think so. I think we're just going to go ahead and super cool star chart here. Messenger honestly sounds lovely. Just get to make threats and generate card advantage. I'm going to go ahead and attack with this to start, because if they have Vile Feast, I want a Pale Cascade to save her. I could maybe see it being right to play around the second feast and play the Sunblessed Vigor. I don't know, they're only 7 cards into their deck at this point.
Nothing escapes my watch.
I think I'm playing out Duskbringer.
We were peaceful once.
Yeah, I like the music on this board a lot. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 cards in my hand. I think we just take this pass, right? Because, like, they're burning 3 mana and we're only burning 1. I also readjusted my volume a little bit, so the board music was louder, because the board music in this game's amazing. So that probably is helping you hear it a touch better. I think it's just super cool star chart hit them with Zoe again. I could be wrong. It could be right to try and go wide and apply more pressure here. I'm gonna messenger and see what they do. It is a lot of months, Quarth. Thank you for the 30 months. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Moon Silver helps me level Zoe quicker. She's at 4 out of 10 already. Let's do that. In the portal.
How's it going?
I need to do this so that way we don't burn a card here. Or I don't lose Zoe's generation, I guess I should say. One mana Pale Cascade will be good at some point in the future. Yeah, I'm just supposed to Pale Cascade there. So, not burning a card from my hand, so I think we just take the pass here.
Forever watch.
So we're at 6 out of 10. But I think we can level this next turn, right? Maybe I don't want to play this because having a backup Zoe if I plan to level this is good. Yeah, I could see it being right to Nocturne pre-attacks there. Got a lot of permutations I can play here. The question is, do I want to stop this from triggering? I think I do. I think this is right. That's close though. It could be right to keep the backup Zoe. Okay, so now I'm going to hush this. And then I'm going to paddle star this one. Oh, it's no longer stunned. That's funny. Okay, so I'll pass.
Time to reflect.
Okay, and they just take the pass. That makes sense. Okay, so they can't Ruination me this turn. That's nice. Let's Dusk Petal. And then Nocturne. Yeah, that seems fine, right? And then let's go ahead and mentor the stones here.
Speak, stars. Speak, I say.
Speak, I say.
Go, floaty crystals.
What's in here? Danger noodle.
I guess I can technically do this with Pale Cascade, and or actually I don't even need to Pale Cascade this, right? But if we do this here and I can Pale Cascade this to kill this? So they can't Harrowing me next turn yet. I'm gonna have 8 mana on their turn. We'll have 9 mana on my next turn, so this will give everything elusive and spell shield. So that sounds perfect. Technically, and Fury too. Yeah, that's true. Am I just supposed to take this pass? I think I'm supposed to take this pass and just open with this, right? It'll be 6, or this is 7, 8, 9, and I've played 3 Celestials. This will be a bunch. I think we just take that end. Shields up. Okay, so Vengeance is coming. Flash freeze. Okay. Create a behold. I wonder if they fix this. This is supposed to stay 0, right? As written, this is supposed to stay 0. I know it previously was not staying 0. I guess I don't really care about my rank, so we can find out if it's bugged. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we'll pass. Yeah, okay. So that's if that's not a bug, then Zoe is worded properly. I'm gonna ping someone. What's this gonna do? How many Niveas you got? You got 2 Niveas and an egg. Man, those are really bad, huh? I guess I take the charger, right?
A new era begins.
So I'm gonna go ahead and Doom Beast here. So I'm gonna get a bunch of gems in my hand. I also don't mind draining them. If this hits Doom Beast, we could kill them with Doom Beast triggers next turn. If we Harrowing next turn, all our stuff has elusive and spell shield. Oh, that's a good thought. I think we want a Harrowing with this, right? Well.
I bring the storm.
Okay, so I actually want these to hit me. These are all dying anyways, so we just let them happen.
I will be reborn.
Are they dead to Odins? Yes, they're control. We have Hearthstone lethal against their control deck. That doesn't sound particularly enticing. Like, yeah, they're technically dead, but like, you know. Their deck has a ton of interactions. Yeah, they have a bunch of harsh winds, they have vengeances, so I need to extend here, I think. Do I want to gem this above? Do I want to gem this above Avalanche? Probably. Ideally, I want them to tap under Ruination. Okay, I mean, like, that's technically request granted, right? I don't have the cards to beat a Vile Feast here, right? Is the problem? At least not with leading on this. That was wrong. I should have just played Evershade Stalkers, right? If I would have played 4 Evershade Stalkers, I would have beat Vile Feast.
See what's inside.
I get a feasted and block before next. He's at fearsome. So if they have Vile Feast here, I would have won. They do not. Alright. So my sequencing on that last turn was wrong, but we won anyways. Yes, ephemeral is not a keyword that gets granted from Zoe's Emblem. That is correct. On Huey, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. It's everybody freeing out this morning, by the way. Up to almost 500 people already. Hope you're having a wonderful Blur's day wherever you're at in the world. It is Friday. Welcome to the weekend, I suppose. Why is our charger? Yes, Zoe's leveled ability is basically like an emblem for Magic the Gathering, if you're familiar with that mechanic. It is permanent for the rest of the game. Inhuman Rabbit, thank you for the very generous tier 3 sub. I really appreciate the 14 months at that. Remember, if you have a sweet deck you'd like to see me play, be sure to submit it using the form on my site. I appreciate the support. I think we're keeping Pale Cascade against the Mystic Shot deck. I'm gonna keep the goat here. Seems fine.
Another day in the field.
Let's make a command for sub chat. Yeah, for the time being, I'm making sub only chat the norm for card games again. And had a lot of people complaining about getting timed out for lazy card suggestions. So I'm gonna allow people to make their lazy card suggestions and not time them out, but I'm also putting chat in sub-only mode to cut down on clutter because of that. Well, the Chronicler, you have that Prime Gaming icon next to your name. That gives you a free sub every single month to a channel of your choice here on Twitch. Spend a little bit of Jeff Bezos money. Brett Coley, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel.
Humanity is obsolete.
Insurrection and other world events going on. 2021 is gearing up to be more of 2020 because, believe it or not, 2020 was the culmination of late-stage capitalism and not some kind of anomaly, so rather than bickering with people who are going to refuse to follow my channel rules and then get timed out for it, I'm just gonna change the rules accordingly. Can't block that Dorko, unfortunately. Just gotta take the hit. More mushrooms in our deck really feels real bad. I think we're just playing this and then banking some spell mana. So bad. Thanks for the prime. I appreciate it. Welcome back. I think we're gemming this so it can attack into Ballistic Bot next turn. Probably open on gem this into Doom Beast and try and get some pressure going here. They're going up to 4 mana, so even if they play a Chump Wump, I'm going to have a bunch of 3-power attackers that can attack into that profitably. We're in an okay-ish spot. This is probably going to be, because they had Teemo on 1 and he got my deck loaded up with mushrooms right away, this is going to be a can we fade Sejani game for the most part. If they have Sejani on curve, there's a good chance we're going to get locked out without being able to do much. So I don't think we're going to be able to kill them before Sejani comes down. She's going to be coming down on our next attack step. Hey, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Paul. Yeah, Zoe Lux is definitely one of my favorites. That is part of why I use sub chat during Magic. Yeah, I've been Magic player. Rather than arguing with people about my rules and people trying to smear my name on the internet because they don't like my rules that they don't want to play by, I'm just gonna adjust it. It's better for my mental health to not spend time bickering with idiots who want to come into my house and then ignore the rules that I ask them to abide by. I'm a happier player. I'm a happier person. Life is short to spend time bickering with people on the internet, chat.
So ordinary.
I think I'm Sunblessed figuring this. Uh-oh. Well, now we're Pale Cascading it because they're greedy AF. Yeah, to be fair, when I was streaming Magic, I explicitly did not have the ability to spend channel points to send messages for non-subs, so I think with channel points for non-subs to send messages, it's a pretty reasonable middle ground.
Can you improve perfection?
My deck is a relatively low curve, so we can hopefully play things out through this still. Probably gonna go gem into Shadestalker this turn. I guess we could go Stalking Shadows into Shadestalker. Filling our hand with this doesn't sound particularly appealing though.
Enough for everyone.
I mean, to be fair, Soulbad, it it isn't that I don't expect people to be critical of my play. In fact, people pointing out mistakes that I've made is a great discussion and things to talk about, right? Like if I didn't want to talk to people, I'd just make YouTube content as opposed to focusing on Twitch like I do. 6, 7, 8, 9. The big thing a lot of people don't get is that it's not about whether or not you're right or you're wrong. It's about how you're right or how you're wrong. That nuance and detail matters. I'm not annoyed that people are being critical of my play. I'm annoyed at the lack of effort that they put in on average when there's a lot of it. So like, we're playing a lot of viewer submissions. The decks we're playing here are often inoptimal, but there's a big difference between like saying, this card's bad, Jeff, tell me why this card is worth playing, and Jeff, I think this card isn't worth playing and I've actually put some thought into it and this is why it's not good. Yeah, it's not what was said, it's how it was said. It's generally speaking, the key differentiator. Okay, so I think we're just gonna try and kill them with elusive stuff here, right? I think we just, oh, I'm out of gems. Huh? Am I Pale Cascading with no draw? Yeah, probably. Oh, I actually don't have the mana to Pale Cascade here, huh? Awkward. I guess I have exactly lethal with this, huh?
Her flowers bring the moonlight with them.
Yeah, I am often wrong. Just ask my wife.
Cygnus, how I missed your light.
Thank the mother you're all right. What have you learned?
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have a touch more mana here.
Pitiful. Inferior design.
So we have 8 cards in hand at the moment. No, it's one time. Nightfall is explicitly a play trigger. So it's saying, hey, this is a thing that's happened when I'm played out. I'm gonna gem this here so we don't burn a card draw next turn with drawing 2 from this.
System upgrade.
Yeah, and then, like I said, I think we needed to be able to dodge Sajani for a turn or 2, and they have her on 7 here. I don't know that we're gonna be able to overcome that. And like they're pretty likely to have their card here. Like as far as aggro decks are concerned, you have to get underneath this one quicker, and we just weren't able to at this point. I guess maybe we can win with this being played out next turn. Let's Zoe into Doom Beast. I guess they might be attacking here. Oh no, they're doing this for sure. Okay, so I'm going to... So this is going to wipe our attack off here. And then I'm going to go ahead and Doom Beast. He is not. He gives himself elusive and the thing he's targeting though.
I'll scout ahead.
Witness me.
Come on, chase me!
Okay. And then we do this. You know what? This is actually wrong. This is actually wrong. So I should have let this hit me and put puff caps in my deck, because I actually want to draw a Puff Cap to start next turn. So that way, yeah, I think the fact that we didn't draw a Puff Cap here is actually bad for us. Because I wanted this to trigger so I could deploy units after the fact. Yeah, I messed up. Please have a Puff Cap. Oh, I could hush this. I don't have enough mana after I hush that though. I wanted to hush this. Yeah, I'm gonna concede. I messed that up. I think I had a chance to. Yeah, we had half our deck was Puff Caps. I was a little bit unlucky in that half our deck was Puff Caps and we drew 3 cards and didn't hit one. But I definitely should have let Teemo hit me there. So if I would have let Teemo hit me, I would have had 20. No, I should. No, stop it. That's very, very wrong. I should have let Teemo hit me because Sajani can only trigger once per turn. Sajani can only trigger once per turn. So if I would have let Teemo hit me, Sajani would have hit me before I played things out, and then I could have hushed Teemo, played things out, and attacked for lethal. Mono Aesol Freljord. Are they an Entreat Aesol? Like, that doesn't make sense, right? Because they could just play Dragon's Clutches? Weird. Maybe they're a Targon's Path deck? Targon's Peak deck? I'm just full mulligan looking for my Zozo. This is definitely not a Sparklefly matchup. Morning Blue. Probably could just be a Behold deck. I would bet they're a Target Speak deck though.
We were peaceful once.
Feel like with this, they're less likely to be playing Avalanche. We're definitely the beatdown here, so. Catalyst makes sense. I'm supposed to take the pass there because of the potential for Catalyst. Confirmed Turgon's Peak. Alright, so let's Dusk Petal into Doom Beast here. Alright.
Traveler, and stop staring.
Stop staring. He's got 2 thumbs and concedes to Avalanche. This guy.
Floaty crystals.
One thing that's actually interesting is they're probably not a Feel the Rush deck, right? Because they only have 1 champion. So, like, they're playing Peak with Freljord and they're not playing Feel the Rush. Is it an interesting decision? Well, shoot.
You leave me no recourse. We will be free.
I think we've died, champ. I think we've been thoroughly target peaked here. And RNG'd from this too. It's like the double whammy RNG. They hit this, and they generated this as one of the best possible generations off of this when we're trying to race them with elusives. Man, the Eclipse Dragon's really good when it generates those two. And their Eclipse Dragon is really good when it generates those two and they cost 0 mana. Just casuals. Sure. Yeah. Nice. What's she gonna do about it? We had player agency in the Frozen Mushrooms game. We did not really have player agency in that one. Just did. We're mulliganing for curve purposes here. Looking for 1s and 2s. Alright, yeah. That's what we're looking for. Slow and steady, rabbit. Nate Roku, thanks for the follow.
We were peaceful once. Lunari, rise!
Obviously, Target's Peak is rooting the format. Oh, don't worry. I've got my special silent keyboard to the side. I'm writing a Reddit post about that last game as we speak. Trio GG, thanks for the follow. Good morning.
You're covered.
Do I want to open attacks here? I think so.
No more hiding.
Randomness is bad, which is why I only play skill testing card games. Big mood.
I'll stop you.
I think I'm just banking spell mana this turn. The salt video is a classic. Tried and true.
I long for a worthy opponent.
That's not a bad pickup.
I walk the space between worlds.
I'm gonna gem this and play Doom Beast. And if they want to attack with this, we can say, hush, little Fiora, don't say a word.
I find them unworthy.
So sometimes these decks play Ranger's Resolve or Chain Vest, but this is definitely our best chance to kill this here. So I'm not throwing away my shot. We're going to be up to 6 total mana next turn, so I can go Sparkles into Shadestalker into Pale Cascade if they block this with this. Huh. Now we could go Dust Petal into Nocturne and crunch into this. Kinda has some appeal. And it leaves me Pale Cascade to still kill this should they have a +2/+2. Riposte kind of gets me. I suppose if they pass if they just pass back here with 4 mana up, how do we feel about Shade Stalker, use Doom Beast to hook this, crack them for 7? I kind of don't hate that. I could also hook this with Shade Stalker, which forces them to use it. Actually, I like this. Let's do this, because then they have to use a combat trick to kill this, and I'm pushing 8 now. Yeah, I like that. This gets 2 towards Nocturne leveling 2, so he's up to 3 out of 5 now. I definitely want to attack them, but I don't think I want to run Nocturne into here and get riposted. But, like, if they want to spend a riposte to kill Shadestalker, like, that's upside for us. If they want to spend a Sharp Sight here to kill this, that's upside for us. And, like, they're a Sharp Sight deck anyway, so Elusive doesn't have a ton of value. Yeah, I like this. And the next turn, I have Spell Thief for whatever combat trick they want to deploy, plus a Pale Cascade still. Aviant! Thank you for the entire year of Prime support. I wouldn't be here without folks like you. Thanks for keeping me around. Welcome back. No plays. Deal. Also, this is Grant vulnerable, so we have a chance to hook this again later and kill it, which is great. Yeah, there might be something to this Hush card, chat. This Hush card might be okay. How do we feel about open attacks? Yeah, give is temporary, grant is permanent. So yeah, grant means permanent. I wish they would mouse over that. That's good. That's good feedback. I should pass that along. You should be able to mouse over grant to see that it's permanent. By attacking with everything to start here, it technically levels this. Or do I want to deploy Goat before we do that?
The skies darken.
We could eat Shen with this, that's true. This will have Fearsome if we attack with it, and it triggers the Nightfall on this. I'm gonna Goat here. Feel like goating pre-attacks is fine. This feels a little bit bad if they have Single Combat or Concerted Strike, which are both cards that they play. So those are potentially reasons to open here and get this leveled. I guess if they play one of those, I could technically Spell Thief it and do the old reversing. Am I hooking this with something to try and kill it? I think so. His level up animation is so good. I think I'm okay if they want to trade here. If they go to empty board and I have all of these plus this, I feel like we're in an okay spot. They have to block here and have something else still, right? Because this is 6 over here. He's very spooky, chat. He's coming for you. I have no idea what is in their hand. Their hand must just be like all the passes they took, they must just be sitting on a bunch of like sharp sights and ripostes, right? Which is why I know the opponent's archetype has a very good win rate and is popular, but my experience playing it is that there's just so many games like that, like where you just like flop around and don't have the right mix of things. Like obviously you have games that are very strong as well to balance those out. That's why it has good metrics overall, but the lows are really low in addition to the highs being really high. This deck playing has felt really sweet. I'm glad it still feels good. It's been a hot second since I've played this. I played this a bit at the start of the format. I made a couple of small changes last night, but I like what this deck is doing a lot. Very sweet, aggressively slanted mid-range deck. Play around the lifesteal barrier by ordering them to the right. Yeah, that's a good callback. This is a plus suggestion. We're attacking on evens, which makes Mentor of the Stone a lot worse. Gonna get a rematch here against Shen Fiora. I think I'm gonna keep the Goat because things that have base 3 power by default tend to line up well into Fiora since she's a 3/3. But I'm gonna mulligan the rest of these looking for other 3 power things as well as copies of Hush. Bye, Nagato. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. So, I think a big problem with Nocturne is too many, and I think this is an evaluation problem a lot of people have, and too many people focus so much on this part of the champions, the level up text, that they don't put enough thought into how good just the baseline stats of it are. And like this card just being a Nightfall 5/3 that like gives something vulnerable is really good. For reference for folks too, you can always type !deck in chat, or if you don't want to spend channel points to do that, you can also access it by checking under the stream. There's a link to my decks there. I'll play another Goat out here, I think, instead of burning a mana. It's not even just Skitterer. Like, Skitterer is a very one-dimensional card. This card can do a Skitterer impersonation, but it can also, in addition to doing a Skitterer impersonation, it can also allow you to control the board, which is really important. So it does both. Do I want to Nocturne this turn? It's really mediocre against Riposte, but it's like pretty good against most other things, right? And I guess if they're riposting me to kill Nocturne here, they're still going to take a ton of damage.
I've got your back.
That's unfortunate. Does that just brickwall me for the turn? So the problem with using a Goat to try and trade into Fiora is that would lose to Sharp Sight. And I feel like the threat of Sharp Sight means I have to just pump the brakes here. Cause like I could attack in with this, and this is technically not fearsome. Yeah, I think we just let Fog resolve is correct. I think we just like let this stop our attack for the turn, unfortunately.
I walk the space between worlds.
Yeah.
You were peaceful once.
So I go.
I never hold back. Try me.
Huh.
My steel is yours.
I feel like them hooking this means they don't have a way to get through Pale Cascade, which makes me inclined to block here in Pale Cascade. Hush. Wow, they had the riposte. And again, this is what I said, like, all the Fiora decks tend to just be pretty polarizing. They're quite obnoxious. Just like the game, like, I feel like those two games there really mirror the play experience against the Fiora decks, Shen Fiora and the All-In Fiora, where, like, one game, they literally died with 6 cards in their hand and a ton of mana and they couldn't do anything because their deck was awkward, and then that game where they had the right mix of things and none of our counterplay mattered and they just ran us over. There aren't a lot of middling games with them. So Johnny Braum PNZ, maybe a Poros deck? Could be something controlling too. Braum's more of a controlling champion. I don't love keeping Mentor this turn. I think I'm just gonna full mulligan looking for Zoe here. I think if I was attacking on odds, I would keep Sparkle into Mentor, but Mentor's just so mediocre when you're attacking on evens. Hey, admin, thanks for dropping off that Prime again. 45 months is a long time. Yeah, I think it's hard to make any assumptions really about what this opponent could be doing. I think there's a lot of different things these two regions and champions could imply. My gut says probably something more controlling, but it's impossible to know. They could be something aggressively slanted too. A lot of people play Braum in more aggressively slanted shells.
Let the flames take you.
I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna open attacks next turn. Yeah, this 100% means they're a Scrapbox deck. Scargrounds is a fairly hard card. I think we Mystic Shot this, right? Spell Thief. Spell Thief is such a wonderfully flexible card.
Burn them all.
That's a great draw. We get to go Sparkles into Doombeast this turn. And then next turn we can go Gem into Cygnus. And crunch in for a bunch.
Fire knows its own.
Huh? Okay, so now we go Gem Doombeast. Is that the play? I suppose if I play Sparkle instead of Doombeast, I bank 2 mana and then can go Stalking Shadows into Cygnus next turn. I think that's better. I could also just bank the full 3 so Sparkles doesn't take a hit from Ember Maiden. Has some appeal to it. I think I like that. I think I like giving up a mana here. From a game theory perspective, why do they put the not in combat clause on gems? So the reason why they actually, one of the Runeterra developers wrote a piece talking about that. The reason why they've put this not inside of combat clause on a number of combat style tricks or unit modifying tricks is because when you have a card like a gem that's face up, if you can play it in response to things, the game theory optimal play with those cards frequently becomes not playing them, because the threat of the trick becomes more powerful than actually playing the trick. So by allowing you to respond to things with them, you discourage people from actually playing their cards. I think I just attack like this, and then if they don't have healing or a way to kill this, they die next turn, right? So, like, this is gonna die to this, but, like, if they don't kill these, and they don't have a way to do this, this kills them. So I think we just attack for 10 here. It is notably worse against Mystic Shot. Yeah, that being said, they're at 6 going to 5, and I do have, like, triple Doom Beasts, so... You know... I have sparkles here too. Hopefully we're just gonna burn them out here with Doom Dogs. Yeah, that's actually very true what Violet Journey said there. That same type of game theory where the threat of playing your card is better than actually playing it was a big part of what made 1 mana pack your bag so powerful. It was often the good players who were playing the Pack Their Bags deck knew that the threat of Pack the Bags was better than actually playing it out in most instances. This card is such a perfectly designed mid-range aggressive card. Like, the fact that it's reach against control, but also stabilizes you against aggro is so strong. Alright, I think I Pale Cascade into Doom Beast here to play around Tavern Keeper. Innkeeper, whatever it's called, the gain 3 unit. If I play like Sparklefly out, they could play the gain 3 unit in response, then Doom Beast is no longer lethal. Yeah, and the fact that it has that critical third point of power, letting it block fearsome units is so very important. This is gonna come as a surprise to many of my regulars, but I'm really enjoying playing this Zoe deck. I think I keep Spell Thief here because they're a Hush deck as well, and Hush is really good against her. I think we could beat Lee Sin here. We're able to apply pressure, and we're playing 3 copies of Hush. So I'm gonna take my hand. I'm gonna slam it in the car door at least once this morning, and get a feel for what it feels like. What do I like about it? I like that, so a lot of the Zoe decks I've played so far feel like they're either aggressive or controlling, and this build feels like a neat mix of the two. Like, we've got some aggressive draws, but we also have tools like Nocturne that let us go a little bit longer, and things like Stalking Shadows actually generate some card advantage and selection for us. Death or the Blade. I think I'm actually going to Super Cool Star Chart now, because if I hit Danger Noodle, I'm going to play it out here so we can open attacks for 5. I think Crescent Strike is actually really reasonable in this matchup. This means the turn they Zenith Blade Lee Sin, they can't kill us with him. I think Nocturn is a much better champion than people give him credit for. 9. End round, yes. Opportunity to burn 4 of their mana for burning 1 of mine, not losing a card, easy pass.
Reality is just your mind crumbling under what it doesn't understand, silly. Fly too if I had wings.
Okay, so... Wait, they didn't... Hearing that explanation, I wonder why you don't use the term mid-range. This is a mid-range deck. It is an aggressively slanted mid-range deck. No, they played Zoe to start this turn. What if I Spell Thief and Zenith played this? Is that crazy? I guess I could Spell Thief and Zenith played this along with the gem to be able to block this. I could also just stun this.
Temperamentalism weird.
Let's do this, actually. Okay, like, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. This means I get to block, and they have to have another trick to attack through it, which feels good. Zoe's at 7 out of 10 here. That's a great draw. Puts her to 8 out of 10, right? We can level her with Spell Thief and Stalking Shadows. That's true. That's true. Let's start with this and see what we get.
Behind you.
Yeah, I think that's just the play, right? Yeah, turn 6 level Zoe. This card is really good at leveling Zoe. The fact that, like, it's 2 named cards. It's 2 differently named cards, and then on top of being 2 differently named cards. Why not grab the 2/2 to give Fearsome? Because I wasn't thinking about that. Yeah, right, we technically could have had lethal, right? I don't know, they probably have a Hush or something like that. Hey, Zajis, thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. And there's a lot of great people. You can ship that to every single month here on Twitch. Thanks for sending your Bezo bucks this way this month and keeping me around. How many styles are there in Runeterra? So, defining archetypes in Runeterra tends to be... So, I actually think... Step back. In general, I think people too often try to shove decks in card games into one category. I think even in Magic, too often people try to classify things as just ramp, or just control, or just aggro, or just tempo. And they don't really think through the nuance of what they're talking about. And in Runeterra, even more so than Magic, Runeterra, the best decks tend to be flexible because gameplay in Runeterra is often dynamic in that your deck isn't always assuming the same role. People, even though we can classify decks as aggro or control, I mean, that's not even an interesting take, Axiom. That's just true. People too often want shortcut answers that are binary, where this deck's aggro, this deck's control, when the reality is that classic, like, who's the beatdown card game theory, right? Is who's the beatdown is more important in Runeterra than it is in any other card game I've ever played. And for people that aren't familiar with what that means, Who's the Beatdown is a classic Magic Theory article that applies to games like Hearthstone and Runeterra and every card game that's about role assessment. It's about looking at your hand and board position in addition to what decks you and your opponent are playing and deciding, should you be playing defensively or should you be playing aggressively? And the main key to answering that question is asking yourself the key point: who's favored as the game you're playing goes on? And if you think you're in a position where if this game lasts 10 more turns, you're a favorite to win versus your opponent, then that means you want to take game actions to try and get that game to last that 10 more turns. Whereas if you make that calculation, you determine you are less favored as the game goes along, that means you want to take more risks to try and end the game faster, thus making you the beatdown. And I think Runeterra, more than any other game that I've played, who the beatdown is at any given point changes more based on the context of what players are doing and what their hands look like.
Doesn't understand, silly.
Tom Kench Gnome Degur, I think, is the closest thing Runeterra is probably ever going to have to a prison deck. And I think that's a good thing. Yeah, I agree with that, Ryan. And in my opinion, one of the things Runeterra, in addition to rewarding people for proper role assessment, in addition to making proper role assessment, Runeterra also rewards players for generating proper tempo and evaluating your resources in terms of that. So, like, how often making good mana exchanges, basically. Now, I might want to play this. I don't want to get single combated on my Zoe this turn, though. So I think I'm actually going to gem into Shadestalker here. So this way, if they have single combat, they can't eat Zoe for free. They have to trade.
By my honor.
Yeah, I agree. Aphelios is really sweet, and Aphelios' design overall is phenomenal. Cannot put into words how excellent his design is. Just very well done.
For the Olga.
Engulf them.
Fear not death.
Okay, so I think we got a Pale Cascade here without the draw, so that way we can hush this after they trick it. So very good turn for us here.
Protect us, Lord.
What form will the waters take?
Yeah, definitely, Navier. Definitely. Huh. I think I want to just push damage this turn, so I'm going to Super Cool Star Chart to trigger... I would love an extra elusive for later. To trigger Pale Cascade, and we'll Pale Cascade this and crack them for 7. Are we Pale Cascading this and cracking them for 8? I think so, or 9. Again, talking about those questions we were just talking about, we're the beatdown here. We want to end the game. My opponent is likely favored as this game goes on. You know, I think I punted that. I think I was supposed to Spell Thief their riposte there. I would have had enough mana for that, right? Did I? Counting is hard. I hushed plus... No, I didn't have enough mana. No, I didn't. Never mind. Maybe I'm supposed to Dustbringer there, actually. It's not a terrible draw. We also getting like, I know that turn that sequence there felt kind of bad, but getting the Sharp Sight out of their hand actually has a lot of value for us here. Means they can't block this. I could just try and kill them here, right? Who wants to just go for lethal? I think we just try and kill them, right? And now if they have second Sharp Sight, they take 4 here, go to 2, and then Doom Beast is lethal next turn. We even ordered our blockers in the right order? Or the attackers in the right order? Yeah, sick. Wow, this deck was great. We're gonna get back to this one again. It had been a hot second since I played this. This is something that I worked on at the very start of the season. And I'm a sucker for both Zoe decks and mid-range decks. And this felt like a fantastic Zoe mid-range deck. Stalking Shadows is just excellent at providing you card selection to hit your game plan consistently. The fact that we leveled Zoe on turn 6 in this deck was kind of absurd. Like, both Lunari Dustbringer and Spell Thief and Stalking Shadows, like, all of these cards are so good at leveling her very quickly. Like, I was really, really happy with what this was doing. Nocturne did basically exactly what I wanted it to do, in that it let us apply pressure in some key situations. It let us be a scotch interactive in other key situations. See, I was pretty happy with this overall. The one card that was kind of mediocre was Evershade Stalker, but honestly, as a one of to find with Stalking Shadows on occasion against control, that seems fine. And this card kind of turbo levels Nocturne, which is fun. Yeah, exactly that, Patches. We leveled Zoe on 6, and it didn't feel like we put ourselves out in order to be able to do that. Like, we just leveled her on 6 by taking normal game actions that we wanted to be taking, as opposed to, breaking our neck to try and do it, and, leaving ourselves in a bad position if they killed her. That's true. We did have a Stalker lethal in the control matchup, so I think leaving one of these for the control matchup specifically is probably a worthwhile thing to do. The fact that this can just be endless copies of itself in key situations is really, really powerful. And like I said, it can also in the late game level Nocturne on its own, just putting 5 of them into play. I'm okay, ship it. All right, we're gonna go ahead and wrap on that one. Let's go ahead and